Bentar, aku belum ngecek Trixie udah lama lah. Trixie udah upload lagi apakah? Loh, bener dong udah upload lagi dong 11 hari yang lalu. Kok nggak nelok aku ya? Oh ini ya, apa namanya? Ini. Nah ya, Ocean Monument.
I'm transforming the entirety of Minecraft within a giant multi-biome island to create the ultimate survival world. We're tackling every major biome and structure, and are even upgrading key gameplay elements, giving you story, quests, treasure hunts, and tons of secrets to uncover along the way. So far, we've transformed these biomes.
Tutor liatin nih militer tutor bagaimana? Sampai jam 2 ya bang, kagak jam 2 juga dong.
We're well on target for releasing the map this summer on the Patreon, so fasten your seatbelts and let's get stuck into the
available on Java and Bedrock.
As you guys know,
Fix aku beli pak ini map asli aku pengen beli.
So we're going to tackle as many as possible in this transformation, giving each aspect.
Bentar, aku baru ingat satu. Karena kan nobar ya. Ini matiin dulu aja, tapi LVD overlay-nya matiin dulu.
A much needed glow up, and of course adding some epic new additions too. Firstly, we've got to upgrade the ocean environment, making big changes to the terrain with plenty of caves and underwater arches to swim through. I'll also be adding
beli agak manis. Aku belilah kalau aku beli aku cuma $1 kok, serius. Kan cuma buat disuruh langganan Patreon-nya dia $1. Habis itu kalian bisa download map-nya dia.
And of course, the mysterious ocean monument with the most interesting story of them all. And finally, I had to give a nod to some of Minecraft's ocean mobs, so we're going to be including a giant glow squid. Although
nobar dulu bentar ya.
We'll also be teasing some of the ocean's backstory with a new home and deeper purpose for the Guardians, as well as adding a dark origin story to the ground.
Buat kau yang tidur ya, alhamdulillah. Memang nggak bisa begini pak, saya sekarang menikmatinya.
But before we dive into the oceans,
15.000, makanya 15.000 doang.
To keep up to date on this project. Right now, only 24% of you are currently subscribed. This channel is the first place that you're going to hear about the world download once it's complete. Plus, it will be on the TrixyBlox and StephBlox channels where you'll see the first ever gameplay in the map, including some 100 days content. And while you're down there, let's get this video to 200k likes. Otherwise, I'll just have to delete the world and it will never see the light. Also, be sure to check out the USW's backstory on the StephBlox channel, plus her latest release, where we take on a nail-biting challenge in one of my craziest Minecraft builds. And we've even released a download of the game mode featured in her video, which you can get right now on our Patreon.
This is Minecraft, but the lava rises every 8 seconds. We're trapped in this giant cave containing this spooky zombie-infested stronghold city, and there's only one way out. But it's all the way at the top of this massive tower.
You don't want to miss this one, guys, so be sure to check it out after this video. Right, now to tackle this first, I'll be draining the water and terraforming, taking advantage of 1.18's new world height. Then we're going to be laying down the foundations for our vibrant coral reef, filling the upgraded environment with giant shells, a wide variety of coral and plenty of seaweed. We're also going to be including some shipwrecks scattered around the ocean's floor, as well as the giant glowing perpetrator of the shipwreck massacre, being sure to keep things survival friendly. So, to get started,
jadi ceritanya ini dia lagi bikin survival map gitu loh.
And creating lots and lots of space to work with. I then began with the terraforming, using
World
sand to create
Painter.
a natural-looking
Belajar
landscape
laptop
cut
jebol
away
lagi.
at the original ocean floor using World Edit. I also created a long, gradual slope to the ocean floor, leading away from the USW and towards the natural oceans, since this transformation is situated in that horseshoe-shaped bay of the island. And with the main base shape laid down, I converted the sand back to stone and began working on some super exaggerated fantasy-style arches to line this enormous area we're working with, and later frame our ocean monument really nicely with a coral reef. I of course had to add some caves and overhangs for exploration too, making the base landscape as dynamic a canvas as possible for placing plenty of decorations and secrets later. And to finish up the base landscape, I added some more gnarly rocks varying in shape and size to act as the main foundations for
survival kayak gitu bang. Oh ya ampun pak.
As many interesting areas as possible before painting the entire environment with a natural gradient, leaving the sand in place where it would naturally fall.
Nggak mungkin kalau survival lah.
Anyway, to fill our empty canvas with some vibrant colors, it's time for the coral. Now, I already made some large coral from my Underwater Kingdom project that I was really happy with, so I decided to use some of it for this project too. But to make sure that this massive reef had plenty of variation, I also built some new coral types. That way we can place a wide range of sizes, colors and shapes around the huge landscape. In a similar way, I also nabbed some of the shells from my Underwater Kingdom project, making some tweaks to the colors so that they were a little more natural and also adding some new shell variants.
Itu Trixie buat sendiri, Trixie nggak punya tim, dia solo. Yang bantu dia cuma satu-satunya pacarnya dia doang.
some hidden in caves, others sitting in the
Itu
sand.
pun juga yang garap dia semua. Pacarnya cuma kayak lebih ke konsepting sama ide-idenya doang gitu loh. Bisa bahasa Inggris tak iso lah. Paham aku. Oh coba pikir aku apa ndelok iki mari kena aku ora paham deh ngomong apa aku paham dong santai.
Speaking of liveliness, as promised, we're incorporating a giant glow squid based on the tentacles I built from the enormous kraken I created in my Underwater Kingdom project. I know you guys must be wondering how the hell a giant glow squid fits into all of this. And I'm not surprised. Without spoiling too much of the story, the glow squid was sent by the witch coven of the Mushroom Swamp Island to retrieve a powerful enchanted artifact, which they'd misplaced when they first fled from the main island.
Dia bikin build ini, ya kan? Dia kan intinya kayak mau bikin build apa ya? Survival map yang bisa kalian mainin. Jadi kayak semuanya walaupun itu di-upgrade sama dia, tapi juga material-material yang dipakai itu kayak nggak mungkin menguntungkan untuk survivalis gitu loh. Kayak biasa aja gitu kan. Nah, tapi dia juga bikin storyline-nya. Dan dari episode pertama sampai sekarang itu storyline-nya nyambung terus, Pak. Per biome itu dia nyambung terus. Intinya nggak feel.
I wonder if the strange artifact that
build
everyone
div,
wants to get their
bro.
hands on has something to do with the ocean
Doinya lebih membantu
monument.
daripada doinya Pau. Aku bukan aku yang ngomong Pau kalau lagi nonton Pau. Si
I
Rizky.
suppose we'll just have to find out later in the video, although I reckon those shipwrecks are packed full of secrets for you to uncover yourselves. And anyway, moving on from that little tidbit of lore, let's finish up this environment and place the coral and seaweed. There's a hell of a lot of ground to cover here. As you can see, placing this coral completely transforms the entire ocean floor, creating a magical coral reef packed full of opportunities for adventure. There is literally coral spanning as far as the eye can see. The more you look, the more details you see, and the more that you want to explore this place. Honestly, this place is pretty insane. I can't believe how intricate this
Masih nonton lagi orangnya. Ini nonton ini dia.
As you can imagine,
Gue udah pernah lihat itu, aku belum lihat soalnya aku lupa. Nah, tadi aku lihat kan pas ngecek channelnya 11 hari yang lalu gitu dia upload. Lah, aku belum nonton.
Shells, coral, and sunken ships to lose yourself in, and it's gonna be a real challenge. So definitely get your night vision and water breathing potions at the ready.
Gak paham aku, Pak.
So, with the environment complete, it's time
Okay,
to
this
build
is it,
the
bro.
largest structure in this transformation.
This
the
is
ocean
it.
Monument. Now I'm going to do my best to create something that's really authentic.
Ini
to the
dia yang
ocean monument,
ditunggu-tunggu.
focusing on some key elements of the original building. For the basic structure, we're going to be
Sampai itu
including
mau
lots of
amimir,
pillars,
hah?
sloping
Ini
rooftops,
apa?
and
Membobo,
ornate
bobo
details
sono.
inspired by those notches lining the vanilla monument's rooftops.
Pakai
We'll
WE
also
enggak?
be
Pakai WE lah
repurposing
dia.
those strange six
WE,
archways at
WP
the back
pakai
of the
semua dia.
original monument, and instead making room for the fabled six shells
Isi
of
motor
the
dulu
sea,
ya, berarti
which
makasih
tie
dari
into the
pertama.
story
Oke.
of our USW oceans. To
Waalaikumsalam.
make the front
Thank you.
wall and entrance pop a little bit more, we'll be adding an organic God of the Seas statue head and replacing the original archways with trident-wielding Merguard statues. And finally, we'll be including that powerful artifact we mentioned earlier, which
Bikin
brought this
nation
whole
monumen di darat,
environment
Bang.
to life,
Wih,
a gigantic
nge-rebuild gitu ya.
enchanted heart of the sea. Now, initially,
Bang. Malah jadi
I wasn't
larpa.
sure exactly what to start with for this build, but I quickly realized that God of the Sea statue head entrance we planned would really help me work out the scale this thing needed to be. So, taking inspiration from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, I molded this Poseidon-esque head from Prismarine, with its mouth open, ready to swallow up those of you who'll be crazy enough to venture into this monument. But why does the entrance depict the God of the Seas? Well, that all ties into that powerful artifact that I mentioned earlier, lost by the fleeing witches many centuries ago. The mysterious artifact, which was an enchanted heart of the sea, was accidentally dropped into the ocean, swept out
Vladimir
with the tide,
Putin,
forming a
bukan,
powerful
Bang.
conduit in the USW seas. For years, the
Saya
conduit
cara
sat
Alfi
alone on the ocean floor,
KN 14
absorbing
salah.
the ocean's
Itu
power
GMC
and
nih, kalau ini
gradually growing
GMC
its
lah.
size, transforming the surrounding landscape until eventually it was discovered by adventurers from a distant land. They were pirates, traveling to the USW in search for the lost treasure of the evil pharaoh. But they ventured too close to the witch's mushroom swamp island and were struck by a devastating spell. Their ship washed up on the shores of the desert without its crew, with the first clue to the treasure hunt left inside. The crew were seemingly lost to the treacherous waters until they discovered the heart of the sea. To their surprise, once they neared its glowing light, they could somehow breathe underwater and gained other powers too. It had saved them from a grisly fate and actually gave
Oh, ini
rise
udah
to a
masuk ke
new
Ocean
race of
Monument-nya ya?
people thanks to the powers of the heart of the sea.
Holy,
And
jadi
so they
kayak
believed that the god of the seas had plucked the heart from one of the witch's pockets, placing it on
kayak
the ocean floor in
ngerasa
its
ada
rightful
Yunani-Yunaninya
place.
gitu nggak
The
sih?
Mer people worshipped the god of the seas as their savior, and of course included a depiction of him in their monument. Anyway, while explaining some of that crazy backstory, we now have a blocked out monument structure heavily based on the original
Pikirannya yang bikin penuh dengan imajinasi. Oh iyalah pasti lah. People like him gitu ini udah pasti, ya itu tadi, imajinasinya dari rata-rata Pak. Tapi nggak cuma sekedar berimajinasi, tapi dia juga bisa merealisasikannya.
It's time for the fun part. Lots and lots of detail. Even though the vanilla ocean monument is a bit of a strange looking structure, it's actually arguably one of the most detailed structures in the game. So I had to do it justice. Starting with the bottom layer, I
Orang kok bisa bikin kayak begini?
designed the main supporting pillars and added some intricate archways, incorporating plenty of sea lanterns to keep these details nice and visible later on. I then moved on to the next layer, detailing the smaller pillars and adding a wavy design under the slopes of the roof. This part is actually called the pediment in classical architecture.
Gak bisa. Lah, aku belum sampai di titik ini bro, kalau masalah ngebuild bro. Aku paling nggak bisa bikin pilar terus ada motifnya gitu, nggak bisa aku. Apalagi bikin sculpture kayak gini nih, kayak bikin bentuk muka, bentuk badan.
I started detailing the next layer, and you can see things are really starting to take shape nicely now. Continuing with these ornate details, I created a design to line the bottom walls. Even though they're pretty hidden for the most part,
Coba debut sama dia, auto turu aku ya.
and make this as immersive as
Cerge
possible.
Fadli. Oh alah, pindah aku napa?
So, to finish up the detailing of the main structure, I got to work on the top level, also adding a small platform at the back where something special will sit later on. At the top of the monument, I added a staircase to the top platform, which I think fits really nicely with the roof. I then finished up the front pediment with one last pattern, before moving on to tackle the top platform, which actually plays host to that fabled artifact I mentioned earlier, the enchanted heart of the sea.
Bentar. Terus kalau misalnya ini Ocean Monument, berarti abis ini di itu dong, ditenggelamin sama dia dong berarti. Oh,
Serving as salvation
okay,
for the lost souls
lanjut
of the
dulu.
stranded pirate crews, the heart was positioned in pride of place on top.
Heart of the Sea
allowing
ya.
its powers to reach far across the ocean, transforming the surroundings and its inhabitants into something magical. As well as the heart of the sea being key to the pirates'
Pakai apa tandanya? Oke.
survival and the emergence of the Mer people, there were 6 large shells scattered near one another, which the stranded pirates used for shelter before they were able to build their own.
Duluan Bang, oke Nova,
They
thank you ya
later
teman-teman.
became known as the 6 shells of the sea. Without their protection, the ocean may have never have seen the emergence of an entire new race of people. And so, once they were strong enough, the founding crews of the Mer people led the inhabitants of the ocean and instructed that a monument was to be built and house the heart of the sea to protect them and what was left of their treasures from harm, with the 6 shells of the sea
Dia masih
placed
belum
atop
kelar
the
aja
roofs
Pak
for the
ngedetailingnya Pak,
founding
masih
crews to
nambah
reside.
lagi loh.
With the 6 shells now all cozy in their new homes, it was time to make the final adjustments to the exterior of this monument, creating a more
Terraforming
natural
standard
sandbank towards the entrance of the monument, and finally returning to those statues that we set aside earlier. Now, as you can see, I originally built these statues with legs, but that doesn't entirely fit with the story. Over centuries, the first lost pirates were joined by many more lost souls.
Ditenggelamin gimana ya?
Cursed by the
Makanya
witches
nih,
or
saya
caught
penasaran
by the
juga nih
tentacles
kalau udah
of
masuk
the
air
blue
nih.
squid. The community quickly advanced.
Apa nama channelnya Om? Tadi udah aku ketikin kok. Ntar aku ketikin lagi ya.
The Mer people became their own race, their bodies completely adapting to their
Itu nama
environment,
channelnya
which
udah aku
explains
ketikin di
this
layar.
Mer guard that I've just whipped up to guard the main entrance.
How?
However, in recognition of their earlier
Gimana kau bisa bikin
pre-evolution
bentuk kayak
advancements,
begitu, Pak?
they also built these seahorse guards. They were the original military force of the Mer people. It was essentially their underwater cavalry. They protected the people from harm's way for centuries before their rapid evolution equipped them more appropriately to protect themselves. And so, they also sit in front of the monument, their reputation as fierce warriors providing a warning to attackers and treasure hunters. It looks like the exterior of our monument is complete, and it's really looking like an epic centerpiece. The resemblance to the vanilla monument is pretty uncanny as well. Maybe I didn't get too carried away this time. And now it's time to crack on with the inside of this monument.
Aduh, interiornya digarap juga dong, bagus, bagus.
maze starting at the main entrance to test your wits from the outset. Then each of the four
Yeah, bro,
levels
the
contain
detail,
a
bro.
complex network of rooms, including loot rooms, treasure rooms, and sponge rooms too.
Nah, dia itu kan karena dia emang bikin survival kan, survival map kan. Dia akhirnya emang bikin interiornya juga dan ada loot roomsnya juga, treasure chamber. Jadi kita bisa kayak masuk buat explore juga, ada lootingnya juga.
We'll be adding chambers in each wing.
Tapi biasanya kan gini ya, kalau misalnya kita main vanilla Minecraft kan, Ocean Monument bentuknya biasa aja gitu kan, terus kita kayak ngeringin terus diimprove gitu kan. Kalau main mapnya dia nggak begitu, Jong. Mau kau modif bagaimana lagi, bangunannya udah kayak begitu.
Automatically record and save your best gaming moments with
Sorry. Maaf.
The main entrance was designed to lure in enemies and thieves, where they would
Udah
enter
gue bikin cerita masihnya gede bener. Nah, kalau yang bikin cerita itu dia dibantuin sama ceweknya. Nah, ceweknya itu lebih jago buat bikin ceritanya. Dia ini lebih kayak ke arsitekturnya dia. Soalnya dia emang kan lulusan Harvard toh. Kalau nggak salah dia lulusan Harvard arsitektur kok, nggak salah dia juga. Emang dia ada basic dari akademiknya juga buat bikin bangunan-bangunan kayak begini. Harvard atau Oxford ya, aku lupa. Sebenarnya gue belum nonton. Ini berapa ya? 5 apa 6? Lupa aku.
So keep your eyes peeled for loot and sponge. To be honest, working out where all the special rooms are might just about be the only way to work your way around this crazy maze. That
Kau tahu, Ocean Monument yang biasa aja aku udah pusing Pak mainnya.
and a whole lot of potions.
Ini begini nama dia aneh.
Depends on your playstyle, I guess.
Kau harus bawa water breathing potion 2 chulker kali ya.
Chambers in the wings. Those parts of the monument that jut out at the front. I thought it'd be cool to incorporate a few
Download
elements
worldnya
into this
belum
Guardian
rilis.
chamber. So I
Ini
added
worldnya
in
belum
some
rilis.
large central pillars, as well as
Si
a couple
pinter
of
build,
treasure
doinya si
chamber
pinter cerita.
elements.
Nah,
Since the
itu.
mer people captured the Guardians to protect their treasure, it seemed fitting to add some treasure in
Ya
this
gak apa-apa,
room.
udah
And
lah,
if you manage to
tonton aja,
outsmart these
sabar
Guardians,
lah.
then you'll be rewarded with some loot. And to finish things up, I planned out the fourth and final floor before adding in all of the walls and secret rooms and moving on to the Grand Elder Guardian Chamber, which I just had to turn into the ultimate underwater boss battle room. I added in some giant pillars, a large floor pattern and a platform, with of course a little stash of loot to reward you if you made it this far. Props to you if you managed to get through all of this in survival. I'm super happy with how this interior turned out and I can't wait to play it with Steph. Even though I built it, there's no way I'll remember.
Aku pengen mainnya Pak. Serius udah pengen mainnya Pak. Pengen mainin kayak pengen eksplornya jatuhnya jadi adventure map bukan survival map Pak.
How to get through all of these floors, and that's without even dealing with the Guardians.
Holy, satu ruangan diisi 5 Elder Guardian ya abis gue.
Finally, to finish things off, it's time to add those ocean ruins. Now, in vanilla Minecraft, we have the stone and sand variants of these ruins, so I'll be including a little transformation for each.
Cuma versi upgradednya ya, lebih kayak adventure map sih kalau menurutku Pak. Berapa giga tuh? Itu nggak tahu aku Pak, berapa giganya. Trixy masuk staff Mojang jadi desainer struktur baru GG sih. Dia kalau sama Mojang udah di approve sebagai salah satu professional builder kalau nggak salah waktu itu title-nya dia dari Mojang, tapi dia nggak direkrut jadi tim developingnya Mojang. Dia tetap dibiarin jadi content creator aja udah. Before finding a nice spot to place things down, these stone and sand settlements actually emerged as the Mer people societies blossomed, building their own villages and establishing their own beliefs and ways of life. Eventually, they fell into conflict, destroying each other's settlements. 30 giga mungkin nggak tahu ya. Aku belum bisa kayak mengestimasi ini world kayak begini tuh berapa giga gitu, nggak tahu juga. The heart's enchantments appear to turn on the Mer people, seemingly. Oh ya juga ya, kalau aku misalnya beli ini map Pak, belum juga laptopku kuat ya buat buka mapnya ya. They became known as the Ocean Ruin seniat ini, makanya aku juga bingung Pak.
Attacking any who cross their path. The monument and the heart remain dormant, although it's said that a glimmer of power remains and that the Guardians still inhabit the monument, protecting the treasures hidden deep within the maze. These ruins were highly requested by you guys.
Iyalah, biar lanjutin jadi CC aja. Kalau dia jadi developer, siapa yang bikin beginian?
So, which side are you on? Stone or sand?
FSD aja 3 giga.
And so, with these mysterious ruins placed and the transformation largely complete, it was time to add the final pieces of seaweed throughout the environment, fill the entire area with water again, which was super satisfying, and create some magma bubble columns to add that final challenge when it
Aduh,
comes to
masih belum
exploring
kelar
this
juga nih
vast
orang.
ocean's landscape. And our ocean transformation is finally complete. So let's take a proper look at everything that we just created.
Cinematic. Come on, bro. Gile. Wah. Udah habis ya?
And that just about wraps up our oceans transformation. Let me know down in the comments your favorite part and what you'd like to see.
Dia harus jadi dev Minecraft Story sih. Kalau Minecraft Story mode oke sih. Dia buat bikin apa namanya kayak map-mapsnya gitu oke sih. Gue yang build kotak-kotak ini juga kotak-kotak tapi dia bisa merubah bagaimana kotak-kotak jadi nggak kelihatan kotak-kotak kan. Dan tadi kalian dengarkan, ini mapnya ada di Java dan Bedrock, so kalian yang main Bedrock dan worry kalian juga bisa main game ini apa map ini pak.
If you're looking for exclusive updates in the meantime, then go follow my Instagram and make sure you join the Discord.
Ini dalam air semua pak, dalam air. Udah cukup. Saya udah terngiang-ngiang pak. Adalah